I took a lot of philosophy classes. I loved them. I loved Kierkegaard. I had great philosophy teachers. I was not yet an integrated person. It took me a long time to grow up. There was some trauma in my family, and so I was quite in different pieces, and it took me a long time to gather all those aspects of myself together. So it was difficult to decide anything. I didn't know you could be a poet. I really didn't know any poets. I had read sort of up to Sylvia Plath, and all those women had died or killed themselves, or so many of them. I loved poetry. I loved Auden. I loved Eliot. I loved all those. I loved Edna St. Vincent Millay and Plath and Sexton, but I didn't, so I got a job at a local suburban paper. This is before computers. Big Kalunk typewriters, no corrector tape. I couldn't spell. It was terrible. And I was always told, Marie, it's so impressionistic. But they eventually let me write more impressionistic things, and it was fun. It was great, and there were some great people in this office who worked with me. Really cozy, really fun. I was sort of given the arts Catholic stuff to write about. But then summer came, and I was still supposed to go to the office from 8 to 5, and I just couldn't do it. I can't be inside all year. So I left, and then I did some magazine work, and then I thought, again, remember, integrating, trying to become one person instead of fragments of many, and then I realized that I loved books, I loved people, and I suddenly realized I could be a teacher, I could be a high school teacher. So I went back to school and got certified to teach high school, and I did for several years. It wasn't until I was almost 30 when I took a fellowship of 4 teachers up to Dartmouth College. And we could take these classes that were meant for this sort of master's in the humanities, and I was going to take another philosophy course. And there was a writing workshop, and I thought, well, I'll just sit in on the first class and see what happens. And everybody went around the room and said why they were there, and I said, I'm just checking out the class, I'm probably not going to stay. And then the teacher, her name was Karen Pels, she said, well, I'm here because I'm writing my spiritual autobiography. And I blurted out, who are you to do such a thing? I'd grown up with St. Teresa and St. Augustine. And she said, I'm a lyric poet. I said, well, I want to do that. And she said, then stay. And I did. And I began to learn about contemporary poets, and women were just beginning to come in. I mean, this was 1980, you know. Sharon Olds just wrote her first book, you know. Adrienne Rich was beginning to move into her more radical, authentic voice. I mean, just beginning. So I learned how to sit still in a room, which took quite a bit of time, and I learned how to concentrate, which took a lot of time, and then I applied to Columbia, and I went there, and I felt as if, you know, for me it took me a long time. I was sort of feeling along the panel to try to find the portal that would be the portal to my real life, and it opened. And I couldn't believe it. I still can't. I cannot believe the joy I feel.